Ibn Taymiyyah, the formidable Hanbali jurist of the 13th century, and Ibn Hazm, the renowned Zahiri scholar of 11th century Andalusia, meet in the grand halls of Damascus in a vivid intellectual duel. The two thinkers clash over two fundamental questions. Is chess a sinful distraction that leads believers astray, or a permissible exercise of the intellect? Drawing on Ibn Taymiyyah's theological rigor, reflected in Majmu al-Fatawa, and Ibn Hazm's legal rationalism, embodied in Al-Muhalla, this debate illuminates the intersection of faith, jurisprudence, and human nature. Step into Attic, where pages open the door to living adventures.
Chess is a distraction, a frivolous indulgence that leads people away from the remembrance of Allah. It is no different from dice games and gambling, both of which are strictly prohibited in Islam. The Prophet, peace be upon him, condemned such activities, warning us against anything that leads to heedlessness. The essence of our faith is devotion, submission, and obedience to the divine will. And yet, chess, like all other games of chance, occupies the mind, steals precious time, and fosters a competitive spirit that fuels arrogance and enmity among the players. I do not speak from mere conjecture. The great jurists have agreed that chess was an invention of non-Muslims, and the influence of foreign cultures should never override divine guidance. Just as the early scholars forbade gambling, intoxicants, and idle pastimes, we must follow their example. Chess is haram because it has the same corrupting effects.
Your reasoning is flawed, Ibn Taymiyyah, and your ruling is excessive. You compare chess to gambling, but there is no element of chance in it. Chess is a game of skill and strategy. There is no wager placed upon the outcome, nor does it intoxicate the mind like wine or dice games. If you seek to prohibit it, then what of poetry? What of mathematics? Should we ban all activities that engage the intellect? Should scholars cease from debating, for fear that their minds may become too occupied with knowledge? The Prophet, peace be upon him, did not prohibit chess, nor did any explicit hadith mention it. You seek to extend prohibitions beyond the boundaries of revelation, crafting rulings that are neither commanded by Allah nor His Messenger. This is a dangerous path, one that leads to unnecessary restrictions upon the believers. If something is not explicitly forbidden, then it remains permissible.
You misunderstand Ibn Hazm. It is not the presence of chance alone that makes something impermissible, but its effect on the soul. Chess engulfs the mind, making men obsessed with trivialities while their obligations, prayer, remembrance, and the pursuit of knowledge, fall by the wayside. The scholars have documented cases where men neglected their prayers for the sake of chess. Furthermore, it breeds arrogance. Have you not seen how players mock one another, boasting of their victories? They take pride in defeating others, relishing in their own intellect. Is pride not a grave sin in Islam? Is arrogance not the very quality that led to the downfall of Iblis?
Arrogance and heedlessness are faults of the individual, not of chess itself. A man may become arrogant from wealth, but do we ban trade? A scholar may become arrogant due to his knowledge, but do we ban scholarship? The error lies in the heart, not in the act. If a man plays chess with the right intention, using it to sharpen his intellect and refine his strategic thinking, then there is no harm. It is no different from the military planning that you yourself admire. Are not our greatest generals master tacticians? Are not battle strategies a form of intricate thought? Chess is nothing but a mental exercise. You speak of negligence in prayer, but a man may neglect his prayer due to business, due to family, even due to excessive eating. Shall we then ban all these things as well? If someone prays on time and fulfills his obligations, what right do you have to deem his pastime sinful?
You attempt to mask its harms behind a thin veil of intellectualism, but let us be clear, chess does not bring one closer to Allah. If an action does not benefit the soul, it should not be engaged in. The righteous predecessors warned against excessive indulgence in pastimes as it weakens the heart. Islam is a religion of discipline and self-restraint, Yet chess encourages distraction and attachment to worldly competition. Tell me, Ibn Hazm, do you deny that chess players often become so engrossed that they lose track of time? Do they not become emotionally invested, experiencing anger and frustration over a mere game? And what of the Hadith where the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Every form of idle play is falsehood, except for a man's playing with his wife, his horse, and his bow"? Is this not a clear condemnation of pointless amusement?
You present that hadith as if it were absolute, yet scholars have debated its interpretation. The Prophet, peace be upon him, did not mean that all other forms of entertainment are unlawful. Rather, he emphasized the value of noble activities. If we were to follow your rigid logic, then even storytelling, poetry, and jest would be deemed sinful. Islam is not a religion of lifeless austerity. The Prophet himself smiled, joked, and encouraged balance in life. As for the claim that chess distracts from prayer, this is a problem of excess, not of the game itself. Excess in anything is harmful. Shall we ban food because some indulge in gluttony? Shall we ban sleep because some sleep too much? Chess, when played in moderation, is no different from poetry or literature. It refines the mind and enhances critical thinking.
Your argument is dangerous, for it opens the door to all manner of distractions under the guise of moderation. Islam is clear in its prohibitions. If something leads to harm, it must be avoided. The scholars have spoken against chess for centuries. The companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, avoided it, and great jurists, such as Ahmad ibn Hanbal and Malik ibn Anas, condemned it. Who are we to contradict them?
And yet you ignore those scholars who permitted it. I do not deny that some disapproved, but others, such as the jurists of the Shafi'i school, did not see it as inherently sinful. Even among the Malikis and Hanafis, there were those who allowed it under certain conditions. Islam is a religion of evidence, not mere tradition. Where is your clear proof that chess is haram? If it is absent from the Quran and Hadith, then your ruling is built upon mere assumption. You claim that distractions are to be banned, but life is filled with them. Shall we live in monastic solitude, denying all joy and leisure? If chess is haram because it engages the mind, then so too must riddles, puzzles, and philosophy be banned. Will you extend your prohibition to all forms of intellectual pursuit?